Jamal Niaz here at the Bellew versus Usyk press conference with Adam Smith. Adam, what did you make of that?
It was a bit of fun, wasn't it? I mean, I don't think Oleksandr Usyk is losing any sleep over this fight. I think probably Tony Bellew lost a bit of sleep with his missus over deciding whether to take it or... Listen, he's a fighter, isn't he, Bellew? And he wants a challenge, and they don't come any bigger or more dangerous than one of the great fighters in the world today. Oleksandr Usyk has been unbelievably impressive, both as an amateur and as a professional. Undefeated, 4 belts wrapped around him already. Arguably, one of the great cruiserweights of all time, even now. Tony Bellew's got to come back down to cruiserweight. He's coming off that great double over David Haye, but albeit a faded David Haye, and now he puts himself in the lion's den once again. It's an incredible challenge for Tony, and it's a fantastic to have Oleksandr Usyk defending all 4 of his belts in the first undisputed fight ever to have it happen in Britain in Manchester on November 10th. So yeah, enjoy the press conference. Tony always makes it lively, and I'll enjoy the fight more on the night.
Bellew is coming off the back of those heated matches against David Haye, in which there was a lot of verbal warfare. Now, Usyk looked very cold up there. He wasn't engaging at all. He knew full well that Tony was trying to push his buttons. Who do you think this favours going into the fight?
Tony's going to try everything he always does with the psychology. I don't think it's going to affect Usyk one little bit. He's a mature guy. He's travelled the world. He is, as I said, an exceptional fighter, and he's got a terrific team around him. This is business for Oleksandr Usyk. He's not really looking at Tony Bellew. Yes, he'll concentrate on the fight. Yes, he'll train as hard as he needs to. He's looking at Anthony Joshua and others, which is why I probed him up there about that, because I believe when he saw AJ at Wembley on Saturday night, he wants to be part of it. There are many others, obviously, that also do. Dillian White. We wait for the Deontay Wilder or Tyson Fury match. There's many queuing up to take or try and take Anthony Joshua's mantle. And Oleksandr Usyk wants to get in that queue, and why not? That's the big money fight for him, and that's the big challenge. He's got to take out Tony Bellew first, and while on paper he may be a favourite, he may be the man that's fresher, the one with the momentum and the speed and the skills, but Tony Bellew is a very difficult guy to beat. He's proved it in the last 2 or 3 years. He's adapted to game plans that Dave Colwell has cooked up, and he's got power. He's got a lot of tools in a ring now, and he's got a lot of maturity himself and intelligence, ring intelligence. And he will have picked this fight for a reason, because he believes he can win it. Whether he can or not remains to be seen, but it's hats off for the challenge, and I think it will be one of the great matchups, certainly of this year, if not in recent times. I mean, it's if Tony Bellew can pull this off and become the undisputed cruiserweight champion with all the belts, he'll go down in folklore, won't he, in British boxing, especially if he announces retirement in the ring afterwards or something like that. But it's a big ask, and I'm not sure whether this is a step too far. None of us are. Probably Tony himself as well.
You spoke to Tony about whether this is the most significant fight of his career, and I was definitely surprised by his answer that... Well, not necessarily surprised, because Goodison Park holds a dear place in his heart, but this is for everything, the undisputed cruiserweight champion of the world. What were your thoughts on his answer? Tony's
very intelligent. He's got a great way of bending questions. He doesn't want Oleksandr Usyk to believe that this is everything for him. He wants to take the pressure off. I think mentally he's right. Goodison Park was a massive risk anyway when he came to Eddie and said, look, I believe this can sell out on a Sunday, and we all sort of waited to see how many were to come out, and obviously the dangerous challenge that he had that night to fight for the world title against a really good fighter in Makabu, and I think mentally probably he was under more pressure for that fight, and I think that if he'd lost that it would have been tougher in Liverpool, but I think behind closed doors he'll know this is the toughest boxing challenge he's ever had. Going to Canada and with Adonis Stevenson, he was the underdog, but he was a light heavyweight. Now the weight's off him. Now he's much stronger at cruiser and at heavyweight. He's found real form, and he's got the confidence and he's got the belief to go with that. But I think deep down he and Dave know, and they know full well this is the hardest ask he's ever had in a ring.
We also have Anthony Crolla on the card, who's hosted some of the best nights in Manchester's boxing history. The seed was also planted slightly for a fight with Lomachenko down the line, which I know Joe Gallagher and his team have been pushing for that fight. They've been wanting that fight for a long time. Do you see that fight materialising at some point?
Would you want to fight Vasyl Lomachenko? I tell you what, I'm just starstruck that he was around the room today. Yeah. We're seeing him at Sky Studios tomorrow, and I've made sure I've got no meetings or anything like that because I want to be around him. He's a special talent. He's the greatest fighter on the planet today, arguably, after now Floyd Mayweather's. We thought he retired and gone away, but who knows? But yeah, Vasyl Lomachenko is unbelievable talent, and I think so is Oleksandr Usyk. You know, the two of them together are quite something, aren't they? Anthony Crolla, fantastic to have him back on the show. Love it when Crolla fights. He's such a terrific fighter and a guy. Obviously brings the crowds with him. There's more left in the Crolla story, and look, if it ends up with a dream fight against Vasyl Lomachenko, he'll just be honoured to share a ring with him, just like he was with Jorge Linares a couple of times. You know, Anthony's a down-to-earth guy. He's made money from the sport, and he deserves it because he's taken on tough challenges, so he won't shy away from Vasyl Lomachenko. But my word, that'll be a tough one, wouldn't it?
And you just mentioned Mayweather then, possibly not being in retirement. We all saw the video on the day of Canelo versus Triple G2. Some people seem to think that was Mayweather's mind games trying to take the attraction away from that mega fight. Others believe that he may be coming back and fighting Pacquiao. What's your opinion?
Mind games are all part of boxing. I would say normally what Floyd wants, he gets. Does he really want it? That's a big question. Does he want to come back and beat the new record, I think, which he could do? Is it long enough now since the Pacquiao fight for people to forget how poor a fight it actually was? Wonderful build-up, fantastic to get them in the ring, but in my opinion, 4 or 5 years too late. They could have had a trilogy by the time they actually fought. But yes, it was an incredible event. Just the fight didn't live up to scratch. You can blame Pacquiao's shoulder. You know, Pacquiao's won a world title since, but you know, he's in the twilight of his career as well. Do we really want to see it? Well, listen, we'll always watch a Mayweather fight, and we'll watch Mayweather-Pacquiao, of course. But I don't know. I mean, does he need it? No. Do we need it? I don't think really. I think the world's moved on a little bit since then, and there's other amazing fights that are happening. But will it happen? Only Floyd can tell you that. As I said, what Floyd wants, he gets.
And surely if that fight does happen, we're going to have to push towards Amir Khan versus Kell Brook.
I don't think there's any question in my mind about pushing towards Amir Khan and Kell Brook. Amir Khan and Kell Brook should fight, and they should fight sooner rather than later. I'm sort of tired of talking about how much my team, the fans, everybody, seemingly in Britain, wants to see that fight before they retire. This is the time to make it. We almost did it 2.5 years ago before he fought Canelo. I was a sort of go-between because Eddie and Amir weren't on the best of terms then. Amir's now joined Eddie Hearn. Kell's with Eddie Hearn. They both need each other. The British public want another Froch Groves type narrative. Two guys who don't like each other. Two guys, when they fight, you're not going to know who's going to win. I don't care what weight it's at. I don't care how many belts are on the line. I just want to see Brook Khan or Khan Brook, whoever wants to take that first name, the second name, put them in a room together with the nearest and dearest in their camps, and don't come out until they've got either a 1 or a 2 fight deal to happen in 2019. That's my opinion. Amir knows it, Kell knows it. I think Amir would rather have the Pacquiao fight because of the global attraction, which I can understand, former sparring partner, maybe a slightly easier fight at this stage, and also he's got a world welterweight title. But come on, British boxing's where it's at the moment. Let's give the public, the fans, a fight they've wanted for a long time. Let's not let it slip away. Brook and Khan need each other, and it needs to be made as soon as possible.